Goodbye coconut fiber. Hello scratch pad. Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. Just be you, Randy here. It seems like every time I make a video, I'm sick. I'm sick again. But anyways, regardless of what it is, I'm going to be making this video anyways. And as I have alluded to you, I've changed my ways, and I've seen this before. It's just I started just using coconut fiber just because that's the way they came in when I had my first batch of Grindal worms, and so I continued to keep it that way. But I have found it to be very time consuming and dirty. You know what I mean? Anytime you're working with any kind of dirt, it's dirty. And I've seen videos of other YouTubers use scratch pads, and they actually turning out to be very quite useful because they're cleaner. Just plain out cleaner and easy to clean out, easy to kind of like manage, and that's what I've done. So in a sense, I've gotten rid of the coconut fiber, and it is no longer here. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing with the scratch pads, right? And so I've significantly reduced my storage of Grindal worms using coconut fiber, and have gone to scratch pads. So let's take a look. So as you guys have seen in my previous videos, I've been just like using coconut fiber, using the bricks, hydrating them, and you're getting a big old bag of soil, coconut fiber. And I've been using it as a substrate for my Grindal worms. But that's been proven to be laboring, and it's a lot messier than the scratch pad, but it's cleaner than regular dirt. So you get your cons, you get your pros. I've switched over. So this is what I've done. Goodbye. I've actually started these scratch pads, and they're not that expensive. They're pretty cheap. I actually bought these scratch pads from like the dollar store. Give it about 4 layers here. Doesn't matter. You can get the expensive ones, or you can get the cheap ones. The cheap ones work just as fine. And here I've already started one. I've actually harvested some over here, and I threw some over here, and I think they're actually under and in the scratch pads now. But I have started this one yesterday, and so as you can see, very clean. Yes, very clean. And if they ever like start crawling out the sides, all you have to do is just throw some water on them, get them back down, and then throw them back onto the scratch pad. And I have a few here. I have a few here already that I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So let's put this guy away, and eventually what we're going to harvest from there, we're probably just going to put in here anyways, just to help it out. So let's get to it. Let's harvest some Grindal worms. Alright, so we're going to start with this one. I started using the Tupperware, and then just to kind of test them and see how it works. And then I started using my containers to start growing these. So I have 3 containers here. I've already sold one, and I sold off all the other ones, and then starting with these new ones. Same setup. Got my bucket of water, got my pipette, got my baser, a little container, and not much other than just this. Open this up. Booyah. I got some on the lid already, and this one's actually a really good culture. This is the one I actually started out with. You can see some on the sides of the walls of the container. Those are very easy to handle, and obviously they're growing very well. Let's lift this up. Plenty of food and plenty of Grindals. So what I usually do is take my baser here, get some water, swish down the guys on the sides of the walls, clean them off. Gives it also like a good rinse, if there's any kind of like extra food or things that need to be filtered through, it filters out really nice through the scratch pad. And this would I actually use a like a Scotch scratch pad as you can see from the green. And then the other ones that I alluded to before has different colors because those are the ones I got from the dollar store. So let's move the lid out of the way, or this cover cap. So there's water in there, as you can see, but that's totally fine because as you can see down there, too, if you can see down there, there's actually a bunch of eggs that actually has fallen through and some food. So that's perfect. Like, that's such a great way to just like filter these guys out without having to, like, you know, mess with the dirt and everything. It's proving to be quite difficult to deal with, especially when you have a lot of dirt. And then you're like, okay, you lose more Grindals that way, and then and then you start to lose a lot of fiber that way as well. So let's go over to the sink. And you can simply just pour it out. See, look how dirty that water is. It's from, you know, all the food, leftover food that gets that settles at the very bottom. And there's all these eggs and food particles that you can just pour out. So we're just gonna pour them out as much as possible. There's some Grindals there, which is good, and a lot of the food. So it makes it very easy to filter out the dirty stuff. You can swish it around if you want, just to catch what's left of the food and eggs, and just pour them out. You can try to save those Grindals if you want, or you can just pour them out, whichever is easier. And it makes it so much easier to clean. That's why I like this way. And there you go. You're ready to go. You've cleaned them off. You've sent some of the ones on the sides down, and then you just harvest the ones over here. So I'm gonna harvest these guys. I'm gonna harvest those, and I'm gonna show you what I got. What I get from it after. So let's jump to that. So I have gotten done doing these two, and this is what I've yielded. And the thing is, these two are actually newer containers, so I didn't want to mess with those. I only want to do the ones that are actually more mature in there. So they're all kind of cleared out. And this one, I've only dropped a few in here yesterday. They've all gone down into the scratch pad, but I'm gonna add these into there as well. And hopefully by the time later today, I'll have another good amount to harvest. And they actually reproduce pretty fast, and they stick to the, you know, the plastic pretty quick too. So, you know, I'm pretty sure later in the day, this morning, I have another bunch to harvest from, and I won't have to save any to feed my betas. But look at this harvest. It's a very clean harvest. I mean, I don't have to worry about the coconut fiber. Only thing maybe I have to worry about is the Grindal worm eggs and some of the food particles, but like it's very clean. So there's really any rinsing I really have to do. If anything, maybe just pour out some water, because you have, you know, you maybe collected a lot more water than you should. There's a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of food particles there. Those are easy, you know, compared to what it was when I had the coconut fiber in there, or the dirt. So look at that, perfect. So I'm gonna add them into here. It may look like it's dry, but these scratch pads actually hold water very well. I'm just gonna actually, you know what? I can just go ahead and pour it on there. I'm gonna shake this up a little bit. We're just gonna pour it on here. You see how the water just kind of disappears? Yeah. Pretty neat. So I kind of like that. Just give it a little water over here. And you can never water too much, because the water doesn't really like stir them up. It just kind of goes right through the scratch pad. And if you ever have too much water like that, it drains out in the bottom. You can just pour it out. Too much water, no problem. See? Of course, that sticks very well too. Whoop. I lied. But put that back there. If it's a little damp, that's perfect. That's how you want it. You don't want to be too dry in there. Got my piece of plastic. And there you go. Well, culture has been created. And this one will take maybe a few days before it starts to look like this. gonna start looking like this, you know. There you go. This one's already starting to grow. It's gonna look like this, and eventually it's gonna look like one of these other ones I harvest, because they're super overpopulated. They're growing and they're starting to crawl over the sides and on the lids, and that's when you know that you have a good culture growing, maybe a little bit overpopulating, but that's perfect, because then you just harvest the ones that are on the walls and on the lids, and you can keep the original ones under the plastic lid to reproduce. And that's it. Perfect. I have officially switched over. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. Just a little bit of update from me to you, and that I've switched over from the coconut fiber, the dirt, to the scratch pad, and it's totally changed a lot of the way that I actually culture these worms now. It may not look so professional, because you usually like these red, green, and blue scratch pads, but they're so much cleaner and so much easier to harvest, and so my recommendation now. So go ahead, try it out yourself. Let me know what you guys think and what your successes are and your failures are, and maybe we can learn from one another. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stay cool and just be you. Goodbye.